Alright guys, welcome back to the garage. Friday night and just coming up to 7:30 in the evening. I'm just out in the garage doing a bit of a power hour or two after work. I got the ball game on out here on the iPad, just keeping us company, so we'll just have that on in the background. Red Sox and Blue Jays should be a good series. Anyway, we're continuing on this front fender that we worked on a little bit yesterday, see if we could get that run out. Now we're going to go back and we're going to sand this properly. We'll sand the entire fender back down. Now that we know we can get this run out, I do have a couple little nibs here to take care of. So we'll do that in the process, and some pretty heavy sanding scratches. Not sure where those came from, but we'll take care of that as well. So got the bucket of water ready to go. We'll get our sandpaper soaking. We'll go through the process. We'll bring you back when it's completely done. I'm not going to keep going back and forth and showing you the whole process. I'm sure that's getting boring by now. So I'll probably just show you the before and after, like a cooking show, as someone mentioned on the video. You know, you just show the recipe and the ingredients, and then you pull something out of the oven. Well, that's kind of what we're doing with the fenders. We'll just show you the finished product in the end. We will spare you all of the hours of sanding and polishing and buffing to get to the end result. So, all right, guys, that's what we're up to, and we'll come back in a little more than a power hour, 5 to 10, and still not done on this panel, but we're getting close. We've got it compounded out, and we've got the flat part here polished out, and I think that's looking pretty good. The good news is I managed to do this all with the random orbit versus the rotary, so I'm getting a little bit better. I'm slowing my passes down. I can still see a few little scratches here and there, but for the most part I think it looks pretty good. And again, we'll do one final pass probably once this is on the car. See, there's a scratch there I can see. Here's my run area. Looks pretty good. I got a little buffing to do here in this area, but that area looks pretty darn good, I would say. And this area I haven't completed buffing yet, but yeah, I think it's gonna turn out okay. So I think we'll go in for the night. Haven't had dinner yet, so and I got to work tomorrow, so get a few hours sleep before we get up and go to real work, and then we'll get back out here after work to finish this panel and start the other front fender. Good night. All right, guys, welcome back. Now Sunday. Didn't get out here yesterday. I had a long day at work, and all I did was come out at about 10 p.m. last night and wander around the panel, and I didn't pick anything up or do any work. I was pretty tired. So it's now 11 a.m. and we're going to start fresh back at this panel today and finish up where we left off. I'm at the final finishing stage on this, so we're going to use the perfecting cream on the small 3-inch random orbit polisher. And we're just going to do the bits that we didn't do. So the nose of the panel needs to be done, and the top side of the panel needs to be done, and then we're going to call this good for now, and we'll do a little bit more final work on it once it's on the car. So that's it for now. We'll finish off this panel, then we'll bring the last remaining panel out, and we'll have a look at that side by side before we continue on with doing some run correction on the other fender. I don't think it's quite as bad as what this fender was, but we shall see once we bring it out and have a better look at it. All right, let's get to work. All right, one more fender crossed off the list, and looking pretty good. So we've got the other remaining fender out beside it, and we're just doing a little comparison again. All right, let's put the finished fender away, and we'll bring the last fender out to the forefront, and we'll show you some of the issues on this fender as well. very similar to the other fender in the locations where I've had the sags happen. Again, they're not overly deep, but I think one of the runs is a little worse. The one up along here is a little worse on this fender, and this is probably a little bit better on this fender. So some pros and cons versus the other fender, but if we manage to get those runs out, we should be able to do the same on this fender. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, we're going to call the front fenders now done, and this one came up pretty well, as you can see, I think, and the runs came out effectively, so those were looking good, those two areas there that we were working on. So I think since we've done all of the fenders and doors now, I think we need to move on to the body tub. So I think that's the next step, is for me to bring the body tub back out of the trailer and set it up on the left-hand side of the garage with enough working space around it so we can work on the final assembly piece. And that will include buffing the body tub areas that needed to be buffed. In particular, I'm thinking that rear saddle piece where the Surrey backlight is going to fit. We're going to have to buff that for sure before the backlight goes on that area. Probably in front of the windscreen could use a little bit of buffing, and of course all the other areas that are visible, the nose of the car, the tail of the car, the I don't know what you call them, the legs where the rear fenders are, will need to be buffed at some point. I'm really concerned about just doing the areas where I won't be able to do once there are body panels or pieces that fit back on, like the backlight. So we'll get those areas done first before we worry about doing the rest of the car. The rest of the car can wait until the car is fully assembled and we buff the entire car for one last time. So that, I think, is the next piece of the puzzle, is to bring the body tub back out. And like I said, we'll start working on building that up and get into final assembly. Alright guys, that's it. We'll upload this for now, and we'll see you out here in the garage probably tomorrow. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. And as always, thanks for subscribing. See you later.